All right, so what is today, the 25th, 225? So the goal for 5-6 in this proving triangle congruence is just we're going to get introduced to two new congruence theorems. We are going to use the ASA, and AAS triangle congruence theorems.
We don't use the angle side side?
Well, we're making our list of theorems longer now. So what do we have?
Make sure you write ASS under.
Well, we have more now. Okay, so what do we have so far? We have SAS, we did. We had HL, which is a special form of SSA on right triangles. And then we had SSS. So now we're getting into our fourth and fifth triangle congruence theorem. In the SAS, it had to be the included angle. HL had to be on right triangles only. And SSS, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Congruent figures, two figures with the same size and shape. Two or more figures with the same size and shape. Uh-huh.
Do you have your work that you have just done? Do you have the work that you passed out the rest of the week?
I do. Talk to me after. Rigid motion, a type of transformation that doesn't change. A type of transformation that doesn't change the size or shape of a figure. Rigid motion, a type of transformation that does not change the size or shape of a figure. And then we're going to use some of our color pencils to color code what we've got going on. Now the ASA congruence theorem is the idea behind ASA is this time you're talking about a included side. Like I'm gonna first hit the included side and shade that in my notes. And then there's two pairs of angles on either end of that included side. So ASA takes us to two pairs of angles on either end of that included side. And then I'm gonna use my other colored pencils. I've got the congruence of angle A and D are marked. I'm gonna make that corner real bright. A and D, there's a marking there, and then I'm just highlighting it, giving that a color. And then last but not least, I think I got a green one here. Sometimes green doesn't show up. I'm gonna try the blue. And then the other pair of angles have two markings. I'm gonna make those guys blue on my figure. So it's gotta be an included side between the two angles. Side has to be between, the sides are between the two angles. That idea of included means between. And then there's another one with two angles and a side, and that one's the AAS, the idea that the S on the end, it's a non-included side. On the angle side, we talk about the non-included side of the triangles, non-included side. So that's our B, C, and EF here. And then I'm gonna go do my angles again. Angle side, my AD pair, I'm giving it yellow. My CF pair, I'm giving that blue. And this time our side is not between the two angles. Good morning. This time our sides are not between the two angles. So a lot of more of the same sort of thing we've been doing is just looking to see, can we prove things? Can we add these to our bag of tricks to draw some conclusions about triangles and prove them? I'm going to move on to the next page. Grab what you need here. When we go to the next page, we're in the position, again, you guys, wherever you see an exclamation point, draw a triangle. I think I caught them on this page. You can see I drew over stuff. So right now we're looking at an ASA or angle, angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. Congruence to decide whether enough information is given to prove that the triangles are congruent. State the theorem. So let's look for either of these relationships. I'm gonna, in number 1, I see there's a pair of sides that are marked right here. KJ and GF, or I'm sorry, GH. So I've got a pair of sides marked right there. And then just going by markings, I can see I got 2 pairs of angles here at angle K and angle H on their separate triangles. Those guys are congruent to each other. Bless you. Angle K and angle H are congruent to each other. And then I've got the pairs that are J and G. I don't even have to think about that reflexive part down the middle, because this is going to be is the side included or not? Is it between, like I'm looking at it, is my red side between my blue and yellow angles or not? And in the case of this shading, I'm looking at it as the AAS, because it's not the included side between the angles. That would have to be these. These would be the included side. So this isn't ASA, it's AAS. And then I'm just going to take my colored pencils. One of my angle pairs is yellow, one of them's blue. My side pair I shaded red. So just doing my color coding on there.
So on tests with these type of things, can we just color them in?
Yeah, in stuff like this, it says, you gotta state the theorem you would use. I'm actually just doing my color coding right on me, stating the theorem. Now, when we look over at number 2, I keep focusing on the side first because I kind of want to decide, is it the included side or isn't it? So that's why I'm going and grabbing the congruent sides first. I'm grabbing those 2 in red. I keep using red for my sides. I'm going to remind myself of that up here. So then the question is, is this going to be the included side between the congruent angles or the non-included side? Now, when I mark the 2 congruent angles that are going on here at C, and then I go and mark the 2 congruent angles that are going on at B and E, this is going to be the included side. It's in between those angles. So then when I come up here and say I've got my ASA, the S is smack in the middle this time because those sides are in between the 2 pairs of congruent angles. So I'm looking at that one as an ASA. I'm going to just look ahead at number 3. There's because of the overlap, I want to see what triangles they're even talking about here. Let's see, JKL. This one's interesting, JK and L. I don't think we have enough information on this one. I know like at N I could call vertical angles, but that doesn't help me because the triangles that they want us to do, I don't know if you guys noticed as I was shading, but it's this triangle, like N doesn't come into play at all. And at N is where I see another pair of congruent angles. I don't think we have enough here because it's looking to me like, let's see here. I think I only have enough. I'm gonna grab my yellow. I got 1 pair of congruent angles. I got that. And then, geez, As far as I can see, the sides they want to tell us here is just NM and JN. NM and JN are congruent. I don't think there's enough information here. I'm actually certain there's not enough information. I would have needed other angles down here at K and L to be congruent to each other. So this one's definitely not showing us enough. Not there. Look ahead at your number 4. See if there's anything we can be matching in 4. What do you think? So the sides, I got the RS and the VU. I think we should be good here. But the question is it at the included side or the non-included side? When I go and take V and S together, I made them yellow. There's my yellow angle. And then my last congruent angle pair is going to be these right angles, T and W. So is this an included angle or not included angle? Is the angle between the two angles or no? I got my red shaded, not between. This is going to be an AAS, the non-included side. What's up? Of course. So I got AAS here because the side is not in between my two angles.